What is up, YouTube? My name is Evan, and we are back with the return of Camerupt EX. The stamina of the camels has in fact overcome, and this guy is the same deal as before, but for those of you who don't know, this guy is all about his second attack, his explosive jet, which is 2 fire, 2 colorless, which is a pretty convenient cost. And you can discard any number of fire energies attached to your Pokemon, not just him, but just your Pokemon in general, and he deals 50 damage for each energy you discarded. Now, we could be using burning energy, which is a cool idea, but honestly, in a lot of ways, I think it kind of interferes with the main theme of the deck, believe it or not. And so while that's a version of this deck that I want to visit at some point, today we're not looking at burning energy. So today we're just relying on basic fire energies to power up our Camerupt EX, and the main reason for that is because his partner in crime is the other camel, Team Magma's Camerupt, whose ability allows him to just attach basic fire energies from the discard pile to himself every turn, thus powering your Camerupt EX, which is something that burning energy doesn't really do, and you could argue it kind of makes it to where you don't have to, but powering up new Camerupt EXs after ones get knocked out becomes difficult, and it makes you enhanced hammer bait, and so on. So we're using this guy, and we're running 4 because we want to get him up, as many of him up as possible, on our second turn as consistently as possible, because he's the lifeblood of the deck, and speed is how we win with this deck. It is all about speed. If decks like Night March can get a leg up on us, we're going to lose. So we definitely have to go very fast, and so consistency is the name of the game. That's why we're running 4-4 line there with Magma Numble and Magma Camerupt. Our only other Pokemon is we are running one Shaman EX, just one. He's a search target, and we can, of course, just play him straight out from our hand when the time comes. But like I say, we're turboing here. So one Shaman really is all we need, and we want to conserve the rest of our bench space for camels. So that is our Pokemon lineup. Our supporter lineup's pretty straightforward as well. We're running 4 Sycamore. We're running 4 copies of Blacksmith. And our final supporter, we're running 1 copy of Lysander. And in certain matchups, like if our opponent can get like a Regice up against us, or they drop out an Aegislash, this is our primary weapon against it. Now, Aegislash, we can power up a Camerupt EX with just basic energies and kind of shoot through him that way. It's kind of nice since he's got that weakness too. But as far as like Regice is concerned, this is our primary defense against it. And it can really help us pick up KOs against opponents by picking off Shamans and things like that. And that's a way we can kind of potentially pick up extra prizes, much needed extra prizes against Vespiquen, Night March, things like that. That's our whole supporter lineup. Not too surprisingly, we're running 4 Versus Seekers. This allows us to tear through our deck a little more indiscriminately and still get those supporters every turn and really exploit the blacksmiths. We got 4 Ultraballs, because after all, these discard our fire energies to the discard pile, so we can start taking advantage of Team Magma's Camerupt. And it, of course, also helps make sure that we get our camels out quickly. Don't be afraid to Ultra Ball on turn 1 for the Team Magma Numble. That is totally fine. That is part of the idea. We're actually only running 2 Battle Compressors because we have plenty of other ways to get our fire energies into our discard pile, so you don't need to just straight up Battle Compressor 3 energies. I know it might seem like that's a good idea, but actually it's probably more important to send that 1 Lysander and then maybe a couple of fires, but honestly, you're going to send plenty of fires, so these are just kind of here as extra options. Just kind of depends on what your opening hand looks like, really. That's kind of what that's all about. So you might want to actually conserve them until you see everything else that goes. It just kind of depends. We got 4 Acro Bikes. Pick 2, send 1 away. It'll always be your fire energy if you find one. Kind of keeps us going. And we're running 4 copies of Fiery Torch so that we can, of course, discard more fire energies and draw more cards. Like I say, this is turbo. Turbo, turbo, turbo. We're running 2 copies of Scorched Earth. Honestly, a 3rd copy would be kind of ideal, but the problem is these will stack up in your hand because you can't play a Scorched Earth while there's one on the board. So this is just, it's kind of like an extra Fiery Torch in a way, but if your opponent doesn't remove it, then you can get extra uses out of it, which is nice. We're running 3 copies of Professor's Letter because these help fuel our torches and our Scorched Earths. And you can, of course, attach them from your hand, too. This is consistency and deck thinning once again. And we've also managed to fit in 2 copies of Trainer's Mail. This helps keep us going, because like I say, we're going to turbo. Turn 1, we're going to play a lot of cards. And turn 2, to an extent, we kind of will too. But turn 1 is all about just, playing it out. Setting up everything so that turn 2, all we have to do is play down those Camerups and start attacking. It's that simple. So we do have those 2 Trainer's Mails just to kind of keep us together. And we do run 1 copy of Escape Rope in case we don't get the Camerupt EX in our active slot. and we get the magma nummel instead, we can find our escape rope while we're going through our deck and switch out our camels, basically. You can retreat the nummel, but I mean, if you can escape rope, that's preferred. It can also be a good out in case you get statused or something like that. In other games, like you get slept or paralyzed or something. And the energy is really simple. We got 4 double colorless energies to help our magma Camerupt get up quickly and easily. And the rest of it, we have 8 fire energies, and that is all she wrote. And there you have it. You have the return of Camerupt. And it's a really fun deck. It's very fast. That's what it's all about. It's about power up quickly, hit quickly, and dealing like 200 damage every single turn from your first attacking turn. That's pretty much it, which is going to be your second turn actually each game, so you really, really want to go first, obviously, since you need those magma Camerupts kind of powering you up. But you can actually attack on your very first turn, and you can still swing a pretty big damage because you got Blacksmith and stuff like that. So anyway, that's the deck, and until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Twitter, link is below, and I will see you next time.